was around her hair. She had actually an old balayage that actually just grew out. So today we're going to be focusing on a technique called Sombre. So Sombre, we've heard a lot about different techniques nowadays. We have Sombre, we have Ombre, we have balayage, foliage, flamboyage. We have so many different techniques. And you guys know that this industry keeps growing and growing, and if we don't take the time and invest in our education, we stay behind. So I'm very, very excited to be here today to share all the knowledge that I've taken in all these years with Farouk Systems. So before I even start, I just want to say that if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will definitely answer all your questions along through this webinar. So just to start off, me and Julie had a client consultation. So we talked about what she is wanting into her hair. So we talked about her having an old balayage technique. So she's a very natural level 7. She wants a little bit more of a subtle look. So we all know that ombre is actually a very dramatic look that goes more from a darker level fading into like a lighter level. And we all know that ombre, you can see all the bottom is light. So with the Sombre, it's actually a very soft ombre, which means that we're actually going to go in and add a few lightness around the mid shaft to kind of give more of a seamless blend. So I like to call it, it's pretty much a happy place between a balayage and an ombre. So again, today we're going to be focusing on using our Chi Infra High Lift cream colors. So one thing I like about these colors is we have 9 different shades. So we actually have 3 blondes, we have 3 browns, and we have 3 reds. So today we're going to be using one of the blondes. So with the blonde series, we have 3 colors, which is cool blonde, and we have a beige blonde as well as a gold blonde. With our browns, we have a chocolate brown, we have an ash brown, and we also have a natural brown. And with our reds, we have a red, we have a red violet, and we also have a red orange. So as you guys can see, we have multiple colors to choose from. And like I said, one thing I like about this brand is we at Farouk Systems are very passionate about making our products better. So all of our products are actually ammonia free, which makes it so much easier for us to use at the salon. It's a lot safer for me, for my client, for the environment. And I love the fact that I don't have to inhale all those crazy gases, and I actually love the fragrance of our product. So one thing I also like about this product is the fact that it's oil based. So it actually keeps the moisture intact while you're doing this process. So you don't have to worry about the product flaking out or the product drying out through the process. So it actually makes it very easy to foil. It actually makes it very easy to just go in and paint, which is sort of what we're going to be doing today. So one thing I love about this product as well is it actually has Chi ceramic technology in it. So what is that? It pretty much goes in and very gently opens up the cuticle of the hair to make sure that the client's pretty much hair stays intact and that there is no damage. One thing I like about it too is that the ceramic technology anchors deep inside of the hair to give that nice penetration of the dyes deep inside the cuticle. So it's actually lightening from the inside out. So another thing about this product is that it lifts and tones in one single step, which means that it eliminates having to lighten or bleach the hair, wash the hair, having to go back and tone it. So with this product, you do everything all in one step. So it lifts and tones. Like I said, they all have different tones. Today we're going to be using our BB, which is a beige blonde, which has a blue violet undertone. So as we're lifting and we're exposing all those warm tones, they're actually being neutralized as we're lifting. So once I'm done with the process, I don't have to worry about going back and toning it. It's just so easy to use. And I'm going to go ahead and start mixing. Like I said, it is an oil-based cream lightener, and it does go up to 8 levels, which means that with every volume generator, you can get 2 levels of lift. So if you want to get up to 8 levels of lift, 10 volume will give you 2 levels of lift, 20 volume will give you 4 levels of lift, 30 volume 6 levels, and 40 volume will give you 8 levels. So you can achieve that with our color generators. Now, if you are using the browns, we only recommend that you stay with a 10 or 20 volume generator because you don't want to over lighten the hair. With our Chi reds, you can actually use it with a 10, 20, or 30 volume. We do not recommend that you use 40 volume with the reds. Now, another thing that's very important to mention is the fact that with our infrareds and our infra browns, we want to make sure that you guys stay within levels 1 through 4, which means that you want darker tones, because if you use it on a client that's lighter than a 6, you're going to over lighten the hair, which will not give you that desired rich tone that you are looking for. So this is pretty much the product. I love the packaging. It squeezes right out. And actually, if you turn it around, it gives you the ounces. So this is perfect for when it's mixing. So I'm actually going to go in, and I'm just going to pour this out. And then I'll go back and show you guys. So what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to be focusing on one quadrant, just because we don't have enough time to do a full head application. So I do want to focus on just this front section. And one thing I also want to mention is that there is no perfect way for a certain technique. With this, with all these new techniques, everybody puts a little bit of their input. So this is just my way of applying and doing a sombre look. And you could guys definitely go back to your salon, apply this at the salon, try it. You could also put a little bit of your creativity in it as well and make it your own. So I just want to mention that's a cool thing about being a hairdresser, is that we can actually put in a little bit of our creative artistry into it and make it your own. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to mix half 20 volume generator and half 30. I didn't want to get too much lift just using the 30, but I wanted a little bit more of a boost than the 20, so I'm actually just going to make like a 25. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and I'm just going to mix this. So one thing I love about these cream colors is, again, they're oil based, so it gives you a very nice, beautiful, creamy consistency, which again makes it so much easier to apply. So all you want to do is just make sure that you mix your generator very well. And the ratio is equal parts. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix this. And if you guys can see, you can see that beautiful light blue tint to it. And like I said, I don't have to worry about overexposing any of the warmth. So one thing I also wanted to talk about is the importance of the influencing factors. Everybody's hair is completely different. So as a hairdresser, it's very, very important to take into consideration the elasticity of her hair, the porosity of her hair, the texture, the formation. Because depending on all that, that's what your ending result will come out to be. So because Julie has previous lightener in her hair, I already know, and I'm very conscious that I have to be careful about over applying on those pre-lightened sections. So I always say that's usually the most important thing, is taking that time to have that client consultation with your client and ask multiple questions, because how many times are we at the salon and we have a client come in with, I don't know, a number one level 1 black hair color. You ask them multiple times if they've previously colored, and sometimes they lie and say, oh, it's virgin hair color, and then you discover that it's actually tinted, and even underneath we have previous highlights. And that's really, really important, to be very honest with your client and let them know that there's no reason why they should lie to us. The more information they give us, the better, because that way we are aware of what's underneath her hair and we can take care of the integrity of the hair. So again, I'm just going to section this out with my clip. And I'm going to focus on this subsection. So I'm just going to clip this right out. And I'm going to use my rat tail comb. So I'm going to begin by taking diagonal sections. Every time I'm doing an ombre or a sombre or a balayage, I like to take more of a diagonal section. I don't really like to take horizontal, because especially if the client has layers, you're always going to see that line of demarcation at the bottom. So to me, it gives more of a seamless blend if you take diagonal sections. You can take diagonal forward, diagonal back, it's up to you. But as long as it is a diagonal section, you will give that beautiful blend. So I'm just going to clip this back. And I'm going to take a smaller section right here. So one thing I love about these techniques is I like the way that it looks very natural. You don't want to focus on leaving so many lines. You don't want to leave any lines of demarcation. And I love the fact that with these techniques you get more of a sun-kissed light look. So I really like to focus on the perimeter of her hair to give that beautiful lightness around her hair. And since we actually cut her hair, we give her nice, beautiful layers. And Julie really wants something to accentuate those layers and also the frame of her face. So we will be focusing on putting a little bit more lightness around her face. So I'm going to take this back. So I'm going to over direct her hair. And one thing you want to make sure is to dip your brush into your lightener, but also don't over apply because you don't want to oversaturate the hair. You actually want just light strokes of it. So I'm actually going to just clean off my brush, take just a certain amount of product, and I'm just going to gently start by painting. And on certain sections of her hair, I'm actually going to go a little higher, and some I'm going to go a little lower. So I want just a very baby, sort of like a baby highlight, but not using any foil. So I just want sun-kissed sections, sun-kissed applications around the frame of her face. So I'm just going to get this out, and I'm just going to continue on. You can also use your fingers. You could also use your board. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about. With these applications, you can definitely use boards, you can use foils, you can use your hands. That's depending on your creativity and how you want to apply. And like I said, there is no perfect way of applying this technique. So if you prefer to use a foil or even cotton, you can definitely do that. So I'm actually just going to freehand paint a few sections. And then I'll be going in with my board and showing you guys how I actually use the board while using this technique. So I'm going to take my next section, and then this one I'm going to bring it forward. So I'm going to go ahead and over direct forward, and I'm going to start in the back section. Just, if you guys can see, I'm gently applying. You don't want to go in with your brush and too dramatically like push it in, because you are going to get a lot of spotting and blotching. So the whole point of this is to get a very natural, seamless blend. So as you guys can see, I'm going higher, I'm going lower, I'm going higher. So one thing that I also like to do too is I actually like to back comb up. If you guys can see, it actually lifts certain pieces out. And I actually like those back comb pieces because once we're done, that actually gives you an even more seamless blend. So once I get to the front, see how just nicely it's just applying. This is because we have the oil base and we have silk in our product. So it makes sure that it's saturated, it gives that shine, it gives that glide, especially when you're applying. And I'm just going to grab her ends. And I'm just going to saturate this with my gloves. And I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. One thing is I always like to have a towel next to me to make sure that I clean my gloves off. That way I don't get any product that I do not want on the rest of the hair. So then the next section, I'm actually going to over direct the opposite way. So this time I'm going to start in the front. Again, you want to just gently and softly use your brush to give those nice strokes. And guys, I just have to say that, Julie, do you smell any crazy product in here? If you guys have never used the Infras, I would definitely recommend that you guys try it. This is honestly one of my favorite lighteners. It's a very gentle lightener, and having the fact that it lifts up to 8 levels, you really don't have to go in and use a lot of bleach anymore. I mean, there's no reason why to be using, having to go through using certain products that are, you know, too strong. So I love this product because it's very gentle. And another thing, we have silk in all of our products. So we actually have silk in this lightener as well. So silk has 17 out of the 19 amino acids that the hair naturally produces. So having silk in all of our product makes it a lot better for us as a hairdresser, because we know that we're going in and we're actually strengthening the hair as well as even going back with our silk infusion. But that's one thing that I love about all of our Farouk Systems products is the fact that we have the silk. So it gives that client that nice moisture to her hair. It keeps the integrity of the hair. It actually rebuilds the cuticle from the inside out and adds strength. And one thing I also wanted to mention, we actually had prepared her hair prior to this, but I just want to go back and talk about it really quick. We actually prepared her hair with our cheek keratin mist. So this is one of my favorite products to use all the time because it does equalize the porosity of the hair. And I like the fact that it's a very gentle mist. So we actually had already misted her hair. And what this does is it's a leave-in strengthening treatment. So you can use this before any chemical service, before a perm, before a color, before a lightening service. And this is even a take-home product for the client because it will give you that strength to rebuild that cuticle and make it strong. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. So as you can see, we have very beautiful painted pieces already in a very gentle way. I'm going to go ahead and go back. Okay, so then my next section, I'm going to go ahead and over direct towards the front. So as you can see, I am leaving some of her natural hair in between because like I said, an ombre, you do get that nice lightness towards the bottom, but we want more natural effect. And that's why, like I said, it's a happy place between a balayage and an ombre because you guys can see the beautiful light strokes that come in between. But then you also see a little bit of dimension of her natural level 7, which is going to make this process so much more beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and go in. And it's really important to also make sure that the client's hair is nice and smooth. When we're dealing with curly hair, usually this technique ends up being a little bit harder. So I always like to flat brush the client's hair just to make sure that I soften and that I smooth out that cuticle before. So I'm going to go ahead and go in, start painting some pieces. Does anybody have any questions as of right now? No? And one thing I just want to say is thank you guys for tuning in and taking this time to invest in yourself. I've been with the company for about 14 years now, and I'm very, very passionate about education. And I always tell all the students when I go to cosmetology schools is you guys don't know how easy you guys have it. Having the fact that you can just tune into your phone and take a class online makes it so much more easier. So we all know that this industry keeps growing. There's new products, new procedures, and new techniques coming out. So it's our duty to stay focused, to stay interested in the newer techniques. That way we keep growing and we do not stay behind. So I just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in and for also supporting these new Chi online education classes. Like I said, very, very exciting, and I'm very honored to be here today to be sharing just a few of my techniques and also just to be here sharing some of my knowledge that I've picked up along the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish right here. So like I said, there is no right, wrong way. And also, you have to take into consideration the client's facial features as well. That's why it's really important to ask what her desired look is going to be. You know, we usually have those clients that will come in, show us certain, colors, and we always like to go back and check and ask her what's her maintenance, How is she going to be able to upkeep this service? So that's one thing that I like to ask my client is to make sure that I'm going to give her a service that's going to be easy for her to keep up. So what I love about all these techniques is the fact that a client can grow out their hair even 6 months later, and it's just going to be the same way as beautiful, but just a little bit grown out. So it still looks very natural. Yes, we have a question.
How long will you let it process?
Thank you for that question. So depending on the volume generator, that's how long you're going to let it process. So because I'm mixed a 20 and a 30, I'm actually going to let it process for about 20 minutes. So the processing time for each volume generator that you use, you can start with 10, 15, 20, and 25 minutes. You could also use a little bit of low heat. We never recommend using any high heat. You don't want to over open the cuticle harshly. So we always can go in with a little bit of heat to process it. And main thing is to always make sure that you let that hair cool off at least 5 minutes before you even shampoo it out. So does that answer that question? Okay, keep asking because I love, love, love when you guys are interactive and ask because that's the whole point. I always say there is never a dumb question. So, but thank you for that. That was a good one. So one thing I also wanted to say, and I did talk about it, is with these infras, you can do full head applications, you can use foils, and you can use just free paint. So I just wanted to focus on that. I like it a lot when I'm freehand painting like this because it just makes it so much easier to apply. And like I said, since it's not a powder form, I don't have to worry about it drying out. So I'm just going to continue. Okay. I love to give backward strokes because I love those little tease pieces. That to me gives it more of an even, beautiful blend to the hair. Okay. Just going to gently set that right there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and clip out some of her fringe area, and I will do that application a little different once I'm done with the rest of her hair. Okay, so going back really quick to our infrareds and our infra browns. So, well, I'll start with the infra blondes. So we get questions all the time about what are the bases of each product. So I just wanted to go back and reiterate that our CB is a cool blonde. So if you have a client that's darker levels, we all know that levels 1 through 4 have a lot of red underlying pigment. So as we're lifting, we're going to get all those red, orange, and yellow tones. So if you are working with darker levels, we usually recommend, and if you are looking for more of that cool tone, we do recommend the CB, and that's more of a blue-green base to it. Since I am using the BB, which is the beige blonde, this has more of a blue-violet undertone. And the GB has more of a yellow-green. So it's more of a warm base. So then going into our infrareds, I can't tell you enough how easy it is now to make any red color. Because before we used to have to lighten the hair, go back and tone it with the red, and then when the client's hair would start fading, we always ended up with pink. So that's one thing I love about this product, is that you don't have to worry about it. You have the tones in it automatically. You don't have to worry about it having to go back and retone it. So the infrareds and the infra browns, they're very special because of the fact, I mean, we have multiple clients that want multiple services. So you could even do an ombre sombre with browns. You can do it as well as with reds. So today we did focus on using our infra blondes, but I just wanted to go in and share that you can use any of these techniques with the rest of the colors. Now, the infra browns are honestly amazing for all those clients that are very subtle, that want just literally a sun-kissed look, because you give more of those caramel tones. So the browns, like I said, have a chocolate CBR, which is the chocolate brown. You have the ABR, which is an ash brown. Now, I wanted to quickly talk about that. When you are using the browns, it is recommended that you really ask your clients what their previous service has been, because you have to keep in mind that we have strong base tones in our product. Therefore, if you were to do a lightening system on a client that has underlying lightening or lighter pieces underneath her hair color, and if it's porous, it can definitely grab the base tones. So I just wanted to reiterate that we want to be careful, because all of our product already has a tone. So if you don't properly consult with your client and ask what they have in her hair, you can definitely end up with a few pieces that might be able to grab some of the tone. But, you know, honestly, they're still amazing. I've never had a problem, but I just wanted to really go in, because sometimes as hairdressers, we get so busy and we also just want to get our hands in and start working. And sometimes we don't take that time to really properly ask our client what her previous services have been. You know, how many times have you done, you know, colors and lightnings and highlights, and then in between the service you see that she had pre-lighten levels, you know, and then you go in and sometimes you over-process the hair. And that's actually why we focus, and we really are very passionate about asking multiple questions and doing that client consultation. I always tell my clients, you know, there is no reason for you guys to lie. I'm not going to spank you. I'm not going to get mad at you. I just really need to know. That way I make sure that I have her hair in mind, and her hair, you know, I want to make sure that I give all my clients that proper consultation to keep their hair intact and beautiful and healthy. So just going in again. One thing also I want to share is when I'm doing these techniques, if you guys can see, I'm actually bending my brush in a more slanted way and using just the color that's on the surface of the brush. So to me, that gives more of an even application. I can go in and just gently stroke those pieces through her hair. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? You guys ask, I will be more than happy to share. So once I get a little higher to the front of her face, I want to make sure that I add a little bit more lightness to the front perimeter of her face, because I do want that nice, beautiful, lighter pieces to frame her face. She has such beautiful features, and we actually just layer her hair beautifully to where we want more of that Victoria's Secret beautiful look, which always has a few lighter pieces framing her face. So again, with the Sombre and the balayage as well, but especially with this, the whole point is just to give a softer ombre. But as you guys can see, I am going in with my brush, and I just want to apply a few strokes here and there to give more of that seamless sun-kissed blend. So this is my version that I use a lot at the salon. So I would really love for you guys to take this back and try it out. Like I said, once you get your hands in, you know, everybody's creativity comes out and you make it your own. That's what makes us special. And that's what makes us all different, that everybody's hands work very differently. So definitely go in and make it your own. Okay? My next section, and I'm going to bring this one backwards. Okay. And you guys see how beautiful and how seamless it's already looking. Like I said, the oil, since it's oil based, it just makes it so much easier. How many times have we used lighteners that are powders that they end up drying out on us, and sometimes it's not even processing? So that's one thing I love about this product, is that it's oil based. You don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and just gently do a few more strokes. Okay. And like I said, you guys can usually use, you could always use a board as well. But I tend to find that when you use a board, sometimes you automatically push in the product a little too much, and you end up, you know, with really strong dominant blonde pieces. So that's one thing I like about the painting, is that we're doing it just to like the surface of the hair. So it gives more of a gentle lightening system to where it's not super intense. If you guys can see, she's got pre-lighten levels right there. So that's why I didn't want to oversaturate the product, and I'm going to focus more on the sides which are a little darker. And I love the fact that she has multiple levels and multiple tones in her hair, because that's actually going to give her more of an even beautiful seamless blend to this procedure. So, you know, nowadays we have clients that come in with different levels, different tones, and sometimes it's a little hard to correct all that, but I always tend to appreciate what they have, because sometimes it makes it even a lot easier. Like for her, it makes it a lot easier that she actually has previous lighten levels, because that's actually going to give her a lot more dimension. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more product, over direct, and start painting again. So how easy is this, guys? This is so easy. This is one of my favorite techniques. Like I said, I use the board a whole lot, but I also love when I get to paint. Sometimes it's just a little easier just to grab that board, but like I said, I have a lot of clients that want more of that, you know, dominant blonde look. So that's why I tend to grab the board, but I do appreciate when I have clients that want a softer version, and this is where I can go in and just put in my creativity and hand paint my sections. So it makes it a lot more fun. Okay, okay. Okay, and I'm gonna finish right here again. Use your fingers just to distribute that product evenly. Okay. So going back, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the rest of our products as well. So we at Farouk Systems, again, are very, very passionate about removing all the ammonia from our products. So it's funny because, sometimes I still do classes and people, it's actually hard to believe that a product can lift up to 8 levels with no ammonia. So I love to go in and teach classes and share all the new knowledge, because it's like, I tell people it's 2019, We have increased, we have gone on, there's so many new formulas coming out, new discoveries all the time. So like I said, I'm very passionate about all of our products. And with so many years that I've been working, I love to experiment with new things as well. So, the infras have been popular and have been around for a few years now. But they came around before we even had those soft techniques, before we used to foil a lot. So we would use it in foils. But now I'm honestly having so much fun with them, because I can go in and incorporate it with all these new techniques that are coming to life right now. So as the years go by, there's so many fun new things, and like I said, it's really important to keep ourselves updated with all the knowledge, and I can't say enough how lucky you guys are to just be able to tune in the comfort of your own home or work or school, and watch this online. So we've been getting so much support from everyone. We had amazing artists, friends of mine come in, and we will be focusing on these live classes. So we've got actually a few scheduled now. So like I said, I'm very happy to be here today and share my techniques and a little bit of my knowledge to you guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go in. Beautiful. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let that sit right there. Now, if you do go back and see that there's certain pieces that are not completely saturated, you could always go back and just reapply and just let it sit nicely. Okay. So I'm just gonna quickly do my last section, which is the frame. This one, this top section, I love to go back and apply it backwards, because whenever she does go back and style it, you're gonna have that nice, beautiful, natural tone. So I'm just gonna pick this last section in really quick, and I'm just going to quickly apply a few light pieces. And like I said, this is where I'm gonna go in and focus and go in a little higher just to frame her face. Stroke in a little bit more, put in a few more strokes and make it a little lighter. So now, one thing I also wanted to share is after we're done here, after she's done processing, I am going to go ahead and process for about, like I said, 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're always going to go back and use one of my favorite shampoos, which is the original Chi Infra shampoo. So very, very important to rinse out all this product, minimum 5 minutes, shampoo with our Infra shampoo, and then seal the cuticle with our color lock treatment to make sure that that cuticle is nice and closed and that the hair is beautiful and soft. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let that one sit back there. So guys, it was so much fun to be a part of this online webinar for these new Chi Academy online classes. Thank you guys so much for having me. If you have any questions, keep asking. We're still gonna have some questions coming through. But like I said, we're also gonna have a fun photo shoot after. So you guys tune in with our social media and our pages to see the after results. Again, on behalf of Farouk Systems and myself, thank you guys so much for having us. Again, my name is Melissa Gonzalez. See you guys next